back to the HaneyBiz Project with host Mark Haney.
All right, welcome back to the HaneyBiz Project, brought to you courtesy of the Solar System people over at Sun System Technology. I'm Mark Haney, and I am joined by Oleg Kaganovich, venture capitalist and the founder of innovative startup Wyndow. How you doing, Oleg?
I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me to be here.
You bet. Now, you just got back into town. You said you might be a bit jet lagged. What's going on?
Super jet lagged. Just spent a couple of weeks in London and Paris. Started out as a vacation, turned into a little bit of a business trip.
Life of an entrepreneur. Right. He turns a time with family into a business opportunity. And I heard that there was a little innovation needed as you were in the wrong place at the wrong time, or near there in London, in Paris. What happened? You used your walkie-talkies?
That's right. First time ever decided, I wonder if I could find a reason to use walkie-talkies when I'm traveling. So brought them with us. Wasn't sure what we were going to do with them. But earlier this week in Paris, there was a little bit of a security threat. And my wife and I were split apart for about an hour and a half. I had the kids, and she did. And so walkie-talkie saved us. All the cell lines were down. You could
not use the cell phone. I mean, the rest of us would be thinking, well, I have my cell phone. That's covered. You've got the walkie-talkies.
Got the walkies. A Boy Scout. Be prepared.
Love it. Okay, Oleg, let's find out about your business background. You're a venture capitalist, but you've also started something called Wyndow. Give us an overview, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So Wyndow actually got started when I was traveling back and forth between, of all places, Saudi Arabia and the U.S. I was asked to be a venture capitalist over there to get their ecosystem started, and I was in New York on business. And one of my back-to-back meetings got pushed back by a few hours. So that meant I had several hours in the middle of the day just to do what I wanted to do in New York. And there's a lot to do in New York. So I went to the front desk of the hotel to ask, what can I do in New York that's more than just going to a museum for a couple of hours? And they struggled. They sent me to Google, which gave me 2.5 billion results.
The people at the front desk sent you to Google. That's kind of crazy.
They
think there's a concierge service that sends you down somewhere in New York. I mean, there's a lot of plays and things like that there.
That's true. But when you have a limited window of time and the time doesn't fit a play or a particular act, you never know what you're going to be able to find.
Hence the name Wyndow.
Window of time.
Okay,
right.
So tell us about the business you built.
So Wyndow helps the travel and hospitality industry deliver a much more relevant and engaging local experience for travelers. So for any point in time as you're traveling, most people don't plan much of what they're going to do day to day when they're traveling until they actually get there. So it's very spontaneous. So once you get there and you're trying to figure out what is the best, most quality way to spend my time, whether it's today, tomorrow afternoon, or whenever it might be, Wyndow will, in effect, hunt and kill the right options for you instead of giving you everything, which no one wants. No one wants the paradox of choice.
So it gives you this choice of stuff that's happening in your geographic area, in your window of time.
It's logistical relevance, not just where you are, because Yelp can do that, but when you are, which is much harder to do.
And now, when you, it's a piece of software, right? So it's on a website and I log on. How does it work?
Yeah, so for the most part, the business is actually, we're a B2B2C, so business to consumer. So our primary customer are actual media companies and hotel companies that use our technology to serve their travelers. We do have an app, mostly for testing, but anyone can go either for iOS or for Android and download the Wyndow app, W-Y-N-D-O-W, and use it directly as well.
What's the benefit to the hotel by having access to your product?
So several-fold. Most hotels get a material amount of their business from OTAs, online travel agencies, so Expedia, Kayak, etc., which cost the hotels anywhere from 18 to 30%. They want more of that business directly. So by having highly relevant local content that changes every 30 minutes instead of once every several months when people manually update it, it's much more engaging. So when you go to the hotel website to see what's going on, much higher likelihood that you'll stick around, come back more often, and likely book with them. And then once you're in destination, it's a competitor against the Airbnbs of the world, which are trying to push their own trips on you, to give hotels a reason not to send you away to Google, TripAdvisor, or anyone else. Keep them within their brand. So that's what we do. We help reinforce our partners' brands.
Nice. Now, your pricing model is subscription. Is that correct?
It's a dual pricing model. The primary in phase one really is it's a licensing subscription, software as a service model.
Okay.
Where we provide a service to the hotels and media companies, and they pay us monthly.
And how did you arrive at that pricing model versus some kind of transactional opportunity where you pay per click click or something like that?
Yeah, there's absolutely a transactional opportunity, but that comes with distribution. So that's really going to be phase 2. There's a defensibility from a business model point of view by working with business partners to help provide distribution for us instead of being straight business to consumer, which takes significantly more money to be able to break through all of the noise.
And what stage is the business in? I call you a startup, but you've been doing this for a while. Tell us about what stage of the venture you're at.
I mean, if you think of startups as an organization hunting for a business model, we're maturing and really developing from being a startup to being an early stage business.
Okay.
We now have several paying customers and significantly more. We have 20 to 25 pilot customers, and we'll likely have north of 100 by this time next year.
Wow. And you guys are based right here out of Sacramento.
We do. Yeah, absolutely. We're a Sacramento-based company. We have a sales office in New York, and at some point we'll have something in Europe, but we'll always be a Sacramento-based company.
And you come from the venture capital world, and so how did that intersect with Wyndow?
I'm an entrepreneur through and through. That's where I started. I went to the venture capital world, and now I'm back to the entrepreneurial side of things.
And what give us your background so you can tell me what that looks like, because I think our listeners would find it interesting to know that somebody who's had your kind of success then would just go to a startup and kind of start all over again.
Yeah. So I mean, it was born in the Soviet Union. We came here. Life was never easy, so we had to be scrappy. So this is where I learned that really anything you do in life, especially being in a startup, is all about endurance and resilience, because it's not going to be easy. People are going to say no to you all day long, and you have to know how to get through that. And one of the best lessons I ever learned on the startup side of things is you win by not dying. The next day, every day that you're alive and around and able to sell is a day for good things to happen.
What's the key to not dying?
So obviously being scrappy is part of it. You do whatever it takes. If your company is in trouble, you stop paying yourself. You do everything possible to keep the product in front of a potential customer until you figure out how to sell. You
have to find a way to have revenue coming in at some point, right?
Absolutely.
You raise a little bit of money or you put in your own money, but at some point you've got to have those paying customers. That gives that chance of survivorship, a lot better odds.
That absolutely, and not only that, the best form of financing. Forget about venture capital or angels. Best form of financing is sales. Yeah, and you don't give away your company when you do.
Raise money from your customers. Absolutely. What a concept! And now, so you have this survivor characteristic about you. That's a philosophy. One of the other philosophies that I found is my daughter says to me, "Dad, it's like you've never worked a day in your life." I believe in doing what you love. It really helps you to keep your commitment. What do you love about what you're doing right now at Wyndow?
Wow, it'll take much more time than we have. But why don't we start with this? I love that we're making an impact, changing an industry. I love that we're helping people in a way that they never thought was possible. I love that I was able to take a vision, bring together a team that is as passionate about what I do as I am, and together take an idea and actually turn it into something that people not only want, but are willing to pay for.
I love it. Well, we're going to be talking more about innovation. To me, that is innovative. And we're going to be talking about innovation as the show goes on. And we're going to be bringing in Brandon Weber, who you know very well. We're going to talk to him about his venture. His venture is Urban Hive and IO Labs. We're going to be talking about that. Join the revolution at HaneyBiz.com, courtesy of 5 Star Bank. This is the HaneyBiz Project.